What is up, guys? Abyxis here, coming at you with another Overwatch video. Today, we're going to go over the patch notes that are out. I'm going to highlight some of the stuff that is interesting, and then I'm going to fly through all the character stuff, because the character stuff is usually what I like to talk about. Yeah, we have the changes to the demotion protection modifier. Just little stuff here. Pressure competitive modifier. This is more for stuff that is really low end and really high end. So if you're in the lower end of the spectrum, like bronze, basically this is going to make it easier for you. It's going to show you when you earn more progress to basically try to push you towards more the average rank. I'm not quite sure why they introduced this, but I guess it could help you understand if you're in a lower elo where you're going. Grouping restrictions really only change for Grandmaster and Champion. Assuming if you're in Grandmaster or Champion, you already know about this. So let's scroll down to the stuff that's actually more interesting to me. General changes. Armor health has been reverted to provide flat damage reduction of 5 per projectile up to a maximum of 50% damage reduction, and out of combat health regeneration changed from 20 to 10 plus 5% of maximum health. Interesting change. Don't know how much regular players notice these things on a minute-to-minute basis in gameplay, but definitely a pretty sizable change to the way these systems work. Tanks. Roll passive for the tank is changing. Tanks now have a 25% damage reduction against critical headshot damage. So this is one of the bigger ones. I'm going to talk about this for a minute. Pretty much what this means is exactly what it says. Tanks are now going to take less damage from headshots. Now, as a tank player in Overwatch 2, you've probably noticed that you can basically, if you're playing against a Sojourn, sometimes a 76, an Ashe, somebody you can kind of just laser your head, which is pretty common in Overwatch 2. There's a lot of characters that can do that. You can get absolutely melted in a very quick amount of time. And you also have the largest head hitbox most of the time. So this is going to help tanks, especially ones with big-ass hitboxes, to stay alive. It's not going to be broken, but it's definitely going to be extremely noticeable. And knockback resistance increased from 30 to 50. This will help your tanks from getting pushed around. Makes sense. A Reinhardt should not get flung very far. But I think that this will help tanks quite a bit. Junker Queen. We're getting into the characters now. This is what I like talking about. Junker Queen's shout can now be activated while using other abilities. This is probably just going to make her feel a bit smoother to play. I feel less like you're playing like a clunky character. And the cooldown's reduced on shout. This should help her. I still don't see her being extremely meta relevant, but she's not been bad in this patch anyway, so this should help her maybe just be a little bit better. If you're a Junker Queen player, you'll like these changes. Sigma's Gravitic Flux no longer requires line of sight to center of the effect. Similar to how Graviton Surge functions, Gravitic Flux no longer needs a line of sight to affect enemies in its target area. There are a fair amount of counterplay options to deal with this ultimate, so we're making it more reliable. Basically, again, just going to make his ultimate feel better and control better. Wrecking Ball. Grappling Claw impact damage increased by 10. Pile Driver. Movement lockout durations for enemies 0.5 to 70.75. Minefield damage increased from 130 to 165. That is pretty big. And explosion knockback is doubled. So I think they are not very happy with how Ball is performing. I was unsure where to rank him in the previous patch notes, and he ended up just being very underwhelming. So I think this will help him. I'm not a huge fan of when Ball is meta relevant, but for Ball players, it is nice to see a little bit of changes. I understand that it's not all about me, so sorry. Ball will probably be a little bit stronger. I don't know if this will push him some ridiculous level. Probably not, but hopefully makes him a little bit more viable. Zarya Graviton Surge. Radius increasing. That is big because it's already one of the best ultimates, conceptually. And duration increased. Half a second of duration while you're stuck in grab is pretty big. Basically what they're saying here is this has been done to account for the bigger health pools. People take longer to kill, so we need to have more health. With that said, Blizzard, I'm not quite sure why we are, raising the health to account for power creep and getting it blown up, and then slowly adjusting everything to make it so you could just overcome the new health boost anyway. But that's just me. Junkrat. Impact damage on the standard weapon increased from 40 to 45. Total damage increased from 120 to 125. So they're saying Junkrat's weapon has great damage output, but is unreliable outside of close range due to its slow projectile speed. Well, I think that is kind of the point. He's not meant to be a sniper. The Season 9 health changes affected Junkrat more than most other heroes, since it now requires one more shot to secure an elimination, increasing damage. Yeah, so that makes sense. Basically, what sometimes when you see patches like this where it's like, I remember like Soldier 76 got like a 2 damage buff, and people were like, oh, what the hell is the point of that? 2 damage on a single projectile doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're hitting an entire magazine on someone, it's a lot. And also, what you have to consider is that, like, for somebody like a Junkrat or like a Pharah, if it takes 3 shots or 2 shots to kill somebody and their health goes up by 5, that could end up increasing making you have to hit a whole nother rocket just to take them down. So that is what they're looking at here, is the numerical values somehow didn't line up where Junkrat was taking a lot longer to kill people. So I guess that makes sense. Echo duplicate ultimate gain multiplier when transform increased from 4 to 4.5. Dude, this change was much needed. I've played a lot of Echo and she's been pretty good, but her ultimate feels like it has absolutely been gutted recently. You pretty much you're never taking like tanks anymore. Like I used to take, going Reinhardt is probably the way to go a lot of the time. Big of ultimates like that you could build quickly. Echo's ult recently basically feels like you transform, you get absolutely lit up, and then you basically lose it. It's kind of just there to like save you. And yeah, there are some characters that you get a lot of value out of with Echo, but this is a small tweak that I think will kind of put it in a very balanced state compared to like before it was really strong. Now it feels kind of weak. This should kind of help it push it in the right direction, maybe find a nice middle ground. Hanzo's Dragon Strike increased by 3 meters per second. Now this is actually quite interesting. I'll have to see how that feels. 3 meters per second doesn't sound like a lot, but in game, that could be a pretty sizable difference. So Hanzo's Dragon Strike is honestly really just used as a zoning tool right now. It's pretty much to take space, to clear people off the cart, or to just kind of, if your team is down a player, buy some time back. It's not really, unless you're comboing it with like a Graviton Surge or some other sort of ultimate, his ult isn't really super impactful. So they said this will allow it to get more damage. I think that's pretty fair. And I think it'll be interesting to see what that feels like in game. But honestly, not too mad about that one. Brigitte, Rally now resets Shield Bash cooldown. Like little bug fixes, or not bug fixes, quality of life changes like this. It's a little buff, but it isn't gonna really hurt us that much. Pretty much means she can just be pretty much ready to go and she ults. She like that. And pretty much nothing else other than the Porsche skins are being added. That is it. Thank you guys for watching the tier list breakdown, or patch notes breakdown. Sorry, I'm a little out of it right now, but thank you for watching patch notes breakdown. This will be going up today. I'm gonna get this one out quick for you guys. I might do a mid-patch tier list. I'm not totally sure because a lot of these seem like very small changes. Where like I don't think like Sigma's going to change tiers because of his slight line of sight changes. Wrecking Ball maybe will. So I might do one. I might not. But stay tuned for next season's patch notes. Stay tuned for Alari skins that just went up today. And comment down below if you want any other Overwatch content. I'm really looking for stuff to do, but I also just can't. It's hard for me to gauge what you guys want to see, because we don't just do Overwatch. We do a ton of other series that we kind of run at the same time. So it's hard for me to gauge what the Overwatch fans want. You guys are a pretty big priority on this channel because you're kind of the lifeblood of our viewership. So let me know what you guys want to see. If you guys want more low elo tips, I'm totally happy to do that. If you guys want more skin videos, those are pretty much guaranteed. Those will be going until the end of the entire series. Tier lists are a guarantee. But if you guys have any other stuff you want to see, like even like character lore breakdowns, maybe, I'm pretty much willing to do anything. I'll talk Overwatch for hours. It don't really matter to me. So I like talking about the game. It's fun. So thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. We try to keep updated with the important news of Overwatch, the state of the game, tier lists, character releases, and all that, and reactions. So, like, comment, subscribe, and thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Good luck in your ranked games.